Thanks, man.
Excuse
Yeah.
me,
Loosen up
right?
a little.
Okay, perfect.
So, most people here probably know you because of your time in the league, but your journey starts in Albany, Georgia, born and raised. So why don't we just start with how you grew up and what was your childhood like?
First of all, thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I always feel at home when I'm in Seattle. Growing up in Albany, Georgia is a little different than Washington. It's really hot, as you can imagine, gnats everywhere. But my dad, he was a major influence in my life. And he was my first football coach at the age of 7. And he was always harder on me than everyone else, harder on me everyone. So I had to run extra laps. I had to be at practice early because obviously he was the coach, and do all these things that he made me do that I felt was unfair. And I think that was the first lesson as far as my life, as far as grit and being resilient. Because I felt like stuff was harder, but I was still a kid, and I somehow still had to overcome those obstacles because my love for my dad was greater than the effort it took to do the work that he was asking me to do.
And you didn't actually play organized, like get into football until high school year, like junior year, and I read somewhere that you were like jumped over cars, and someone's like, you need to go play football. Is that right?
Well, no, I've been playing football for a while. I started to run track my sophomore year, and it was just basically off the fact that some guy didn't show up one day, and the track coach asked me to run a lap in the 4x4, and we ended up winning. And that year I set 3 school records.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So you were fast, even back then. So you eventually played college ball at Fort Valley State, and didn't get a whole bunch of attention from NFL scouts, but you did win the 200-meter NCAA championship, Division II. What was kind of going through your mind? I mean, was the NFL like that's what you wanted to do, or Olympics? Like,
just kind of in high school. I was kind of, the big guy on campus, and, the teachers, none of my teachers kind of helped me along. They kind of passed me, because I was kind of the nice guy, and he was great at sports. But that ultimately affected my college career because I had offers from major D1 schools, but because of the lack of attention I paid to my education in high school, it caused me to go to a Division II. And everyone's just like, hey, now he's going Division II, he's not going D1, he can't go to the NFL. What is he going to do now? And everyone's telling me this, everyone's asking me this, and it would just aggravate me so much. And you ask me, what are you going to do now? Like, okay, so you're giving up on me. You don't believe I can do it. You don't believe I can do it. And everyone would ask me that. And so I just said to myself that no matter what school I go to, I'm going to be the best every day, no matter what. Because first of all, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm bigger than this. I felt like I was bigger than every situation. I felt like I was better than every person that was next to me, and I felt like there was no goal that was unobtainable. And so being in that environment, I think I brought my teammates along, I brought my coaches along, and I brought my family along with the drive that I had. And I made it work out of Fort Valley State, I think.
Where did that, at such a young age, I mean, you're only a college kid, like where did that drive come from? Was it your father? Was it the way you were brought up? Was it the small community? Like, that doesn't just come,
I think people always ask, like, where does that drive come from? And Coach Carroll, and we have talks around the locker room and meetings about where does grit come from and what is it? And I think, like I said before, I think it's when your passion or when your purpose is greater than the work, like I said. So a lot of people have plans of doing this, and they have plans of being great and coming up with the next this and next that. But sometimes there's bumps in the road that you didn't plan on. And then sometimes people derail from their plans. And I talk to my kids, and I talk to other people, and I say, look at it this way. If you went to the kitchen and you were fixing a sandwich, you were really hungry, you were fixing a sandwich, and you dropped your sandwich, that doesn't stop your hunger. So do you go lay down and say, I dropped my sandwich, or do you fix another sandwich, or do you find something else to eat? And that's pretty much what I think life's about. I'm no philosopher or anything, but I think it's about feeding your hunger. you know, that sandwich didn't stop your life. It didn't ruin your plans for being great or anything. It was a small obstacle that you didn't plan on that happened. And that is grit. That's where it comes from. It comes from being great, being just resilient.
Yeah. And so you made it through school, and but you didn't get drafted. You went. You did get the invitation to the combine, which was all the scouts look at you and address your skills. But the draft went by in 2011. You didn't get drafted. Was that the end? Like, were you just like, okay, I'm gotta go find something else, or did you? Was the fire still in you to, to make it?
The longer I sit here, the more and more stuff that you bring up, it's like, wow, all these doors have been closed in my life. This is really the first time that I'm hearing all of these things back to back to back.
We're just getting started, man.
Yeah, so that happened too. But so coming out of Fort Valley State, and like I said, I had to drive, and I'm telling everyone that you can do it, you can make it. And here we go again. Here's the draft, and everybody's like, okay, hardly anybody comes out of Division II school. So they're like, okay, this is our guy. He's going to make it. And it doesn't happen. So this happens again. What are you going to do now? Well, I have a mechanic shop that you could do this, and I'm starting to. I'm not doing that. I have a goal. I have a purpose, and this is what I'm going to do. So time goes by. A couple teams call, and Coach Carroll gives me a call. And he says, hey, I read up on you. I know who you are. And I'm just going to give you an opportunity. And at that time, when I told my family and I told my friends, the look in their eyes, the way my grandparents cried, the way my dad smiled, and just out of pure happiness, is something that I knew I couldn't let die. And the only way I would let that die is that I come to Seattle and waste the opportunity that I had. And I think every day we wake up that we have an opportunity to do something. And obviously, everyone in here realizes that. And if there's anything you can take from this and take from me, don't ever give up on your dreams, because there's someone older, younger, next door that is watching you, and they are going to reap the benefits from what we do in this room. And I think this is an amazing group, and I think this is an amazing meeting, or Geek Wires is something that's going to change the world, and I'm pleased to be a part of it.
So you made the team, but you didn't actually play your first game until about 4 months later, December. Home game, CenturyLink Field. I mean, you got to be like, it's crazy. It's electric, right?
For sure.
And the first play, Seahawks have the ball. Tavares Jackson drops back, 44 yards. You're right there. You make the catch. You're right on the Seahawks sideline. Everyone's going crazy. I mean, that's got to be like an amazing feeling.
That was actually one of the best days of my career, because my dad, coincidentally, my dad's favorite team is the 49ers.
Perfect.
Retract that. No, his team is the 49ers. But so my first play was Christmas Eve. We played the 49ers on Christmas Eve, and I told my dad, I said, hey, watch the game today. I got something to show you. So he's thinking, he doesn't know that I'm active. He just thinks, hey, he's going to be standing on the sideline with his sweatsuit. I hope he doesn't run across the field and do something crazy. But so the very first play of the game, Christmas Eve, my dad's favorite team, his son that he's coached his entire life, is walking out on the field. And he said, I was watching it, and I thought that was you. I wasn't quite sure. And next thing I knew, they hiked the ball, and they threw you the ball, and I was just hoping that you caught it. And when you caught it, I couldn't stop the tears from my eyes, because that was everything I wanted you to experience. I wanted you to know that you are great and that anything is possible. So that Christmas Eve was one of the best Christmas Eve and the best gifts I probably could have gave my dad.
Yeah, it's an amazing moment. So fast forward to 2014, one of my favorite Ricardo plays is during Beastquake 2. This is Marshawn's second epic run at Arizona, division rival. And we got the video here, so let's just watch that play.
Here's Lynch. Oh, some high stepping and some shifty maneuvering, and Peterson tries to strip him. If he stay in bounds, if he stayed in bounds, he's going to go all the way. Marshawn Lynch, 79 yards, unless he stepped out, and you saw it Peterson come over.
And Marshawn scored the touchdown, but if you guys noticed, 83 took out not one, not two, not three, probably 4 times there. And at that 30-yard line, without you there, that play wouldn't have been possible. So what goes through your mind watching that play again?
I think on a team, everyone has a job. Everyone has a position. And the better you're at your position, the stronger the team is. But just because you're done your job doesn't mean there isn't anything else to do. Because obviously, my guy, he was backside. He wasn't in that play. My block, he was backside. So when I'm watching this, I'm watching a teammate, I'm watching a family member, I'm watching a brother that has the same goal, the same purpose that I have. So it's not about the X's and the O's. It's not about I did my part, you did your part. It's about giving your all. It's about there's no limit. If you have a team full of guys that has no limit or women that has no limit, sky's the limit for that team. If you have a lot of people that just play their position and just kind of fit into the typical, this is what I'm supposed to do, it doesn't work. That makes you normal. That makes you generic. And there's nothing generic about greatness. Everyone creates their own path. And I think everything that I've been through, all the doors that have been closed, it created resilience. And I think that's what that was. I don't like talking about myself because it's not about me. It's about the team. It's about my family. It's about my community. It's about helping others. It's about the greater cause for life itself. So I was just doing my part, and I don't take any extra credit. He would do the same for me.
And you say he would do the same for you. I feel like the Seahawks are special, since Coach Carroll came in, and he's helped create this culture of, you talk about brotherhood, LOB, teamwork, determination, helping your brother out. It's not about you. How did that happen? And as you kind of went through and were on the team, how did he instill that in you guys? And what was that like, having that bond with your brothers out there?
I think it was it's more of a family environment, and it's the way he incorporates family into business. A lot of times, we're at work a lot of the times, and you're away from your family, you're away from your husband, you're away from your kids. But what Coach Carroll does, he brings your family in. He makes it real. Say, hey, Ricardo, this is Russell Okung's kids. This is his wife. This is so-and-so. So then you understand, like, they have to get back to these people. We kind of look at it as kind of like a war zone or kind of like a military thing. It's like, I'm blocking for Marshawn so that he can get back and hug his mom. I'm blocking for Russell Wilson so that he can get back and hug Sierra.
That's important. Yeah.
Right. It's a team effort, but, all seriousness.
Sandwiches and Sierra, I did not think we would be talking about this.
Right. So it's bigger than us, is what I'm saying. Right. You understand the purpose. The purpose isn't just to get a touchdown. The purpose is to do everything right so that certain people don't get hurt, and you do so forth and so on. But obviously certain things happen, but that's our goal.
So let's jump to last November, almost a year ago now. You're in Dallas. You're sprinting down as fast as you can on the punt coverage, and bam, you get hit, you fall, you're not moving. What was going on in your mind?
So on this play, we typically don't like the Cowboys, but so we're running down, and Coach Carroll, he's like, hey, let's go, Rocket, we need you, let's go, let's roll, and he's really high energetic like that. So, but we're getting ready to roll, and the ball is snapped, and I give a move, and I'm running down the field, and I check to see the flight of the ball because I'm going right for the returner, no brakes. So I'm running right for him, and I see him, and I'm pushing this guy off, and then all of a sudden I hear, boom, it's like a loud crack, and then kind of the sound where you hear if you were hit a fork on the side of a glass. It's like just ding, and I'm just laying there, and I hit the ground, and the only thing I could move is my eyes, and I'm looking around, I can't hear anything, and that was a moment where a lot of things changed in my life. I look at myself as a warrior. I look at myself as someone that can't be stopped. I look at someone that has just an unbreakable personality. And that moment, I was extremely vulnerable. I wasn't a warrior. There was nothing that I could do for myself. So I'm laying there and I'm just asking God to just give me the opportunity to get up and walk again. Give me the opportunity to hug my mom again. Give me the opportunity to at least tell my daughter that I love her and I want her to be great in life. And at that point, I'm laying on the ground and touchdowns and X's and O's and Super Bowls don't matter anymore. And that's when you realize what's really important in life. And what's really important in life is affecting others in a positive way, how they feel about you. And if you leave today, what did you do to help mankind, your family, your brothers, your sisters? And that's what's important to me now. And, I had great doctors and a great training staff that helped me out. And I'm laying there, and pretty much my skull is disconnected from my spinal cord. And if my teammates were to come over and say, hey, get up, and pull my hand or move my arm, I would have died. If the play would have extended a couple more seconds and the guy would have ran the ball and fell on top of me or whatever, I would have died. If the training staff had came over and just tried to pick me up or put me on the cart some kind of way, I probably would have died. But I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful to God that I'm here because their training, their studying, their passion for what they want to do, what they wanted to do and be, saved my life. And I dare not take that for granted because there's a lot of people that are in the hospital right now that are fighting for their lives. There's a lot of people that's not here today. And I dare not waste another day not giving my all to be the best I can be and giving my all to help others complete their dreams and their goals in life.
Yeah, that's really good. That's awesome. And what were those couple weeks, maybe months after? And I had some conversations. In the days after Marshawn visited you in your hospital room, and I'm sure some of these thoughts that you're having, you had then, and your daughter came, and what were those conversations like? And was your perspective already changing at that point?
Yeah, it had definitely changed. So maybe like an hour after the hit happened, it took my daughter and my family a little while to get to the hospital. And my mom and the doctor says, hey, your daughter's outside. My daughter, November 1st was actually her birthday. So she came to that game as a birthday gift from me. And so she's like, she's outside. She's 10 years old. And she's at the door, blah, blah, blah. And and they're like, do you want her to come in? So at this point, I have to think about, I'm the hero, I'm the warrior in my daughter's life. She's my little girl, she's my angel. Do I want her to see me like this and, daddy's all bandaged up, stuff's all on his neck, wires and stuff everywhere. Do I want her to see me like this? Do I want to see her at my weakest point? So my answer was yes, because I wanted her to feel okay. I didn't want her to go to sleep not knowing what happened to daddy or not knowing this and not knowing that. So I wanted to fill that void in her brain. Once she got in, all my tears went away, all my pain went away, because, like I say, my purpose was bigger than the effort or the work it took to get the job done. The job that I had to get done was to show my daughter that no matter what happens, you can always win. There's always another day. Hey, daddy's gonna be okay. Don't cry. It's okay. It's football. This and that. We're gonna have a birthday party tomorrow. At this point, I don't know if my neck is broken. I don't know if I ever walk again. I have no idea. But all I know is that I have 2 to 3 minutes with my daughter that thinks I'm the greatest thing that ever happened to life, and I have to make her happy. And that was what I did, and I'm glad that I chose to let her come in the room.
Yeah, it's an amazing moment. And so you did decide to retire earlier this year, and as we talk about how your perspective has changed, you've also, it's tough to hang up the cleats, but you dedicated your life to helping others in need. Mm-hmm. Why?
Because others helped me when I was at the lowest point or at the worst point in my life. And coming out of the hospital, I would say maybe like an hour after that, I saw a group of homeless people on the corner, and it had to be at least 100 of them. And I couldn't believe that this many homeless people were on the street, because, in Georgia, you don't see that many. In Seattle, you see it here and there, but Dallas, it was more people on the street than is probably in here. And I was just wondering, what could I do? What could I do? What could I do? And I'm an hour out of surgery. Obviously, I can't do much. I can barely move. And I told the driver to turn around. Let's go by this burger place. And we bought 100 burgers. And ever since that day, the help for trying to help homeless and just giving back has just been a snowball effect for me. And I'm excited about everything that I'm going to be doing and doing in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. And speaking of helping others, you are helping out the Seattle Science Foundation with some pretty cool work they're doing with spinal injuries. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, these guys are amazing. The Seattle Science Foundation is actually ran by Dr. Shane Tubbs and Dr. Rod Askewian. They're great, and what we're planning to do is we're trying to raise awareness for spinal cord injury. We want to raise awareness. There's actually 17,000 spinal cord injuries that happen every year. And our plan is to do actually the first 3D mapping of the spinal cord so that we have a better understanding of how it works, the different intricacies of the brain and how it works with the spinal cord, to one day make the wheelchair a thing of the past. There's a lot of people that need our help. What we're going to do, we're going to raise money for those that can't afford insurance, those that need surgeries and just don't have the money to do it. We're actually planning a trip in a couple of months. We're going to Africa for 10 days. We're taking over 200 doctors with us, and there are people there that have been in wheelchairs. There's people that have been bedridden for the last year. There's kids that's born with deformities. And these guys are going to teach the doctors the new innovative techniques of spinal cord research, and also to help these people walk that had no chance or no thought of thinking about walking or holding their kids or walking or wherever with their kids, or just being a father holding his child. We're going to change that for them, and I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited where it'll go. And I look forward to making wheelchairs a thing of the past with the Seattle Science Foundation.
Nice, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
So we're almost out of time, but from growing up in Albany, going through so much adversity, Fort Valley, not getting drafted, bouncing around practice squads, and you won 3 Super Bowls. You went to 3 Super Bowls in a row. You won 1. I mean, your story is so full of perseverance and grit, and it's awesome. So, but for people out there, whether it's an entrepreneur or a kid studying for his math test, I think that there's been studies done that perseverance and grit can trump IQ or intelligence almost every time. So what advice would you give to that person in terms of them asking you, how do I get more grit? How do I get more confidence in myself? Like, what would you tell them?
You find the purpose. You find the purpose. If you're creating something that's going to stop paralysis, or you talk to people that are in wheelchairs, you talk to people that are on crutches, you talk to people that are going through spinal cord, you talk to someone in that area. If you're dealing with a math test, hey, Mom, what happens if I don't pass this? What happens if I do pass this? And it's up to your parents, I think, to instill that. But if you're at the age, like if you're at our age now and you're wondering, hey, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, it just seems like every door is being closed on me. What do I do? You dig down deep and you say, why am I here? Am I going to waste this day, or am I going to make it great? Am I going to change my family's life? Am I going to change my kids' life? Do I want to live here forever? Do I want my kids to live this type of way? Or whatever your purpose is, you find your purpose. You can't do anything without purpose. You don't just get in the car and drive. You have somewhere you're going. And wherever you're going, if it's that important to you, no matter how many red lights and how many stop signs you go through, you'll get there.
That's awesome. Ricardo, thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.